Hey everyone, it's Bennett, your fantasy football commish, with the first weekly recap of the 2017 ForrestLand MishMash fantasy football season. So excited that fantasy football is here. Uh, Although it's always a little sad that the summer is ending, but it's always great to get back into football season, and this definitely eases the pain of the impending winter to come. Is having fantasy football. So, first of all, I'm glad the draft went off pretty much without a hitch. Thanks to everyone who made it. Doesn't look like anyone had to auto draft for an extended period of time, so that's good. Everyone hopefully got the team they wanted, and just to show you how important the draft is, that leads me into my first topic of today, which is the really relative low scoring in the league. We're going to get to the highest scoring two teams, which of course played each other in typical fantasy football Murphy's Law fashion, where the second most um, points of the week ultimately ends up paying the first most points of the weeks and gets the loss, even though they beat everyone else. But as you know, that happens quite often in fantasy football, it seems. But relatively low scoring. We had two double-digit scores. We had two that barely cracked triple digits. We had a 115 and a 121. So really only three or four good scores for the week. And if you look at the draft, and this is amazing, if you look over here as I click on each member of the draft, you see the total points. Other than Antonio Brown, who had 30, you have to go all the way through the top 39 picks, the top 41 picks, before you get to anyone else who scored more than 20 or 22 points. Gronk had a mediocre day. Matt Ryan had a mediocre day. Mike Evans and all the Dolphins and all the Buccaneers, obviously, due to the hurricane, didn't play. Um, but David Johnson, of course, the third pick in the draft, got hurt. He's out for 3 to 6 weeks, 3 to 6 months, I think. Julio Jones only had about 8 points, 10 points, excuse me. So it's pretty amazing that we make such a big deal out of the first couple rounds of the draft. Not to mention, by the way, Andrew Luck not even playing. Who knows when he's going to suit up? And you have to go all the way to the 42nd pick, a rookie, before you get to somebody who had really an amazing day other than Antonio Brown. So it just goes to show that the first couple rounds aren't everything. You have to have a deep team. Of course, it's a long season. This was just week one. But let's get into the scoring recaps as we're talking about Kareem Hunt. Really, as I mentioned in my fantasy, my first recap of the draft, that I thought both Baltimore teams were looking really good. Of course, I thought my team as well was looking good, but really from day one, game one, third and oolong made a big statement. So let's take a look at that game. The two Kansas City players she had, the rookie Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill, who had a really amazing season last year once he started playing, really set the pace with 47 and 29 points. And people were pretty much just crowning Tom Brady and the Patriots an undefeated season. And people forget that NFL is the number one sport where you just can't predict from year to year. Even the team like the Patriots, and it's only one game, you just never know what's going to happen. And no one was even talking about Kansas City. And meanwhile, they've got really explosive playmakers. They've got a veteran quarterback, a really good tight end, and only one game, but man, they look pretty good. So that led the way. Of course, Matt Stafford had a pretty good day as well. So he was, in what draft round was he drafted in? Refresh my memory here. He was the 62nd pick, so you had to go all the way to pick 62 to get another high scorer. And then a little bit of everything. Obviously, Antonio Brown, the number 2 overall pick. Obviously, happy she picked him over David Johnson. And then Jimmy Graham didn't do much, but overall, obviously, 205 points, an excellent day. And look at all these points on the bench. Gillisley looking like he's going to be the number 1 back for the Patriots. And then all this other scoring as well. So really good team. It's only 1 week, as I've said 15 times already, but Doreen's team looks really good. Colin Cleansers had a great day. The rookie Fournette looked good. That was really sort of the theme of the week, other than Kansas City, was all the rookie running backs pretty much did well. and as I mentioned in my my draft recap, that I'm sort of a wuss when it comes to drafting rookies, but this year was the year to draft rookies, so it's looking pretty good. The colon cleanser's got to be pretty happy with Fournette, um, and of course Stephon Diggs. Who knows if he's going to do that all season, but tough luck loss with 160 points, second most in the league, and yet gets the loss. So tough luck for the colon cleansers. Doreen's looking pretty good. We had a really close game. The only game that came to Monday night was the low-scoring Ray Finkel versus the Slim Aussies, and I was sort of holding out hope that I would win, but I had a feeling that Finkel, it was only a matter of time before he caught up. When your two, number one people are your next to, I had one good skill position player, Derek Carr, do well, but when your defense and your kicker are pretty much your two top scorers in the league for the week, you're pretty much doomed to lose. Obviously, Brandon Marshall had one catch late in the game. DeMarco Murray, again, with the theme of the first two rounders, not doing well. Le'Veon Bell did terrible. Didn't help that my number one or number two quarterback, Jameis Winston, obviously through no one's fault, didn't play because of the hurricane, so I had to pick up Scott Tolzien, which was god-awful. I think the first play of the game, or the first pass of the game, he threw a pick six. So that obviously didn't help. I think I probably would have won had Jameis Winston played, but was not to be. Of course, I'll make that up later when he does not have a bye as the year goes on. But Ray Finkel squeaks out the win. I believe it was Dalvin Cook had a really good game. Again, one of the rookie running backs doing really well in his first game. A late garbage touchdown for Colby Fleener, and of course just enough from Demaryius Thomas and Melvin Gordon to get the win, 109-105. So good job, Ray Finkel. Let's go to the Baltimore Riot, which again, going into the year, I thought was one of the top teams. They get the win. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and Phillip Rivers is always going to put up numbers, even though the team's pretty mediocre. Christian McCaffrey was probably the weakest rookie with only 10 points, but a nice smattering of points everywhere. Jordy Nelson with 20. That could and should be a really good combination, Aaron Rodgers to Jordy Nelson all year. Of course, Jason Witten, sort of just like, who's the other guy I mentioned? Alex Smith, just a veteran who's going to just put up numbers, even though he's not old, not young, and not the hot young tight end. Jason Witten's always going to be solid. So a nice 147 points there. Of course, best name of the league this year. Show me your TDs. I love the name, Jeff or James. It took me, and the best part about it is it took me a couple minutes to figure it out, to get it. So it took a second. It wasn't as obvious as I thought. I thought it was sort of a dumb name at first, but if you think about it for a minute, it's a really good name. Love the name. Don't love the team. Obviously, Tom Savage with -2 points. He gets benched at half. David Johnson gets hurt. Adrian Peterson only had like 6 carries. So, not surprising that they only managed 82 points with a little bit of bad luck and just a little bit of not much going on there. Obviously, Jay Cutler, same with my guy Jameis Winston, didn't play, so had to start Tom Savage. It's probably not the number one choice for James's team. But Baltimore Riot, again, does really good. They've got the Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson combo, some good running backs, and they get 147 points, and they're 1-0. We also have Chicago Travelers getting the win. Graceland with a disappointing 87 points. And obviously Danny Woodhead getting hurt. That doesn't help. Allen Robinson's out for the year. That doesn't help. So just not good luck with Graceland. Of course, Jay Ajayi was on a bye because of the hurricane. So another team that got hurt by not having by the hurricane teams. But obviously 87 points is real tough. That should get better as the year goes on, but not going to win week 1. The Travelers are pretty happy with 121 points. Shady McCoy was one of the few top 10 picks that had a really good week. And just a little bit of everything other than Jarvis Landry being out. So a lot of skill players on buys because of the hurricane. So that definitely contributed to the low scoring, but also just, again, sort of a weird week Week 1, sort of unpredictable. Should be shouldn't be too indicative of how the season's going to go for most people. Most of the top couple round people will bounce back, but the Travelers get the win, 121-87. Last game of note is the Somerset Stallions, looking pretty good. In spite of picking Andrew Luck, who knows if he's even going to play this year, gets a nice, well-rounded effort from all his other players. Obviously, the Rams' defense was great. Don't expect that every week, but you'll take it. Carson Wentz could be a good replacement for Andrew Luck, who knows if he's going to play. So the Somerset Stallions got to be pretty happy with that. Considering Andrew Luck didn't even play, to get 150 points and the third most points in the league. Gallows' team, who again I thought was looking pretty good coming in, and still might very well be good, but obviously Andy Dalton getting -4 points, and Odell Beckham being out, and Mike Evans being on a bye. So a lot of couple bad luck things there, along with Andy Luck just laying an egg, and only gets 115 points. So again, first recap of the year, week 1. Very early, obviously. Now's the time of the season just to have fun and root for your team before you either get too excited or too depressed that your team sucks. So enjoy the first couple weeks. Obviously, the standings are going to be pretty straightforward, with everyone either with one win or one loss. So thanks for listening, as always, and enjoy the fantasy football season. Welcome back, everyone.